For over 400 years, the colony of Jamestown stood as the first permanent English settlement in North America. But beneath the surface of this triumph was a haunting mystery. What really happened to the Jamestown settlers during the brutal winter of 1609? Why did so many die? And what dark secret did they take to their graves? Now, thanks to cutting-edge forensic science and ancient DNA analysis, the truth is emerging, and it's more disturbing than we ever imagined. Stay with us as we unravel the gruesome truth buried in Virginia's soil, the Jamestown settlers' darkest chapter, revealed. The promise of a new world in 1607, over 100 English settlers arrived on the banks of the James River in what is now Virginia. They came in search of gold, glory, and a new beginning. Sponsored by the Virginia Company, Jamestown promised wealth, opportunity, and the expansion of the English Empire. But what they found instead was hunger, disease, and conflict. The environment was harsh. The settlers lacked farming experience. Tensions with the local Powhatan people escalated. And as winter approached, their supplies dwindled. The starving time, the winter of 1609 to 1610, became known as the starving time. Out of the 500 settlers who had arrived by then, only about 60 survived. Historical records spoke of men eating rats, shoe leather, and even resorting to boiling their boots. But rumors whispered of something even more horrific: cannibalism. For centuries, it was considered taboo, a desperate rumor, impossible to prove. Until now. A grave unearthed in 2012, archaeologists digging in a Jamestown cellar discovered the fragmented remains of a teenage girl. Her bones bore unmistakable marks, cuts to the skull and jaw, not of violence, but butchery. They named her Jane. Scientific analysis revealed something chilling. The marks were made post-mortem, after death. Someone had cut into Jane's skull to extract the brain, the most calorie-rich organ in the body. Jane, it seemed, had become a victim of survival cannibalism. The role of ancient DNA, but how could researchers be sure? That's where ancient DNA came in. A team of geneticists extracted mitochondrial DNA from Jane's remains, tracing her maternal lineage. The results showed she was of English descent, likely around 14 years old, and had poor health before her death, signs of long-term malnutrition. The genetic material also allowed experts to compare her DNA to population databases in the UK. It confirmed her origins and her tragic youth. Jane had likely arrived in Jamestown full of hope, only to become part of its darkest secret. Why cannibalism was hidden? Cannibalism was a taboo too heavy for the early English settlers to admit. The Virginia Company needed Jamestown to be seen as a success, to attract more investors and colonists. Admitting to cannibalism would have been a public relations disaster. So they buried the truth, literally. Even John Smith, the famous leader of Jamestown, avoided any mention of it in his detailed writings. Only scattered hints and indirect accounts remained, until science forced the truth into the light. The scientific process, the discovery of Jane, wasn't just historical, it was forensic. Using CT scans, forensic anthropologists reconstructed her skull. Cut marks were analyzed under microscopes. Tools likely used in the butchery were compared to the bone damage. Radiocarbon dating confirmed her death occurred during the infamous starving time. In a fusion of history, archaeology, and genetics, science confirmed what had long been denied. What it means for American history. Jane's story humanizes Jamestown in a profound way. The settlers weren't just pioneers, they were desperate, starving humans, driven to the edge. This isn't a story of shame, it's a story of survival. By uncovering the truth, historians remind us of the real cost of empire building, and the brutal conditions early colonists faced. It's not just a dark chapter, it's an essential one. More secrets below. Jane may not be the only one. Dozens of unmarked graves remain at Jamestown. Researchers believe there are more stories waiting to be told, and more secrets to be unearthed. With advances in DNA technology, even the faintest traces of human history can now speak again. We may soon learn not just how the settlers lived, but how they died, and what they endured to keep Jamestown alive. The legacy of Jamestown. Jane was not a monster. She was a child. A victim of desperation, of broken promises, of a brutal world far from home. Her story, uncovered through ancient DNA, is a haunting reminder that history isn't just about battles and leaders. It's about people, fragile, hungry, hopeful, and the things they do to survive. As we unearth more graves and decode more genes, we're not just rewriting history. We're finally listening to it. At Decoding History and Science, we uncover the truths buried by time, the forgotten voices, the silenced evidence, and the dark secrets hidden beneath the surface. If this story shook your understanding of history, then imagine what else we've yet to reveal. Subscribe to Decoding History and Science, where the past comes alive, and every discovery rewrites what you thought you knew. Like, comment, share this video, and become part of a community that refuses to let history stay buried.